athletic arena. It is the 6th largest high school gymnasium in the world. Year after year, it packed the house at turning time. It hurts to drive by Belgrade Arena at turning time today and see a mausoleum. This is going on all over Indiana. Between 97 and 2000, IHSAA lost 400,000 fans. The IHSAA lost a net profit of $500,000. This experiment has been a financial disaster. You got 3 additional trophies. It's costing you $500,000 a year. I used to be a businessman. That's $166,666.66 for each one of those trophies. This experiment has polarized Indiana, and that is a terrible thing. 2-1 for the old tournament. This experiment has destroyed the great ideal of Hoosier hysteria. In other words, this experiment, the rabbit died a long time ago. Please don't tamper, don't tweet, don't experiment further. Bring us back Hoosier hysteria. Get your original locations back, large and grand. Keep driving times down. Minimize fuel consumption. Maximize your local rivalries. These guys in Grant County, these consolidations, they're tough. They give Marion everything they want. Marion may have it would be a great section. Let's quit trading our traditions for these trophies.
My name is Craig Berger, and I just lost a $20 bet. I didn't think there would be any way that Jim Suter would wrap up under 2 minutes. It sounds harsh to say it, but in my opinion, I don't even like the words that are coming out of my mouth. High school basketball in the state of Indiana is no big deal. I never thought that I would say that, but it seems to be the unpleasant truth. It's always been a part of our culture. And I think the decision to go to class basketball came from a philosophy that we need to expand more opportunities for high school athletes to compete at an even level and perhaps compete for a championship. In doing that, though, we lost sight of the importance of basketball as a cultural institution in the state of Indiana. I know my statement that it's no big deal sounds harsh, but pick up the Indianapolis Star on the Sunday following the Saturday State Finals, buried on page 6, 7. It used to crowd out anything that was in the sports world, professional, collegiate, or otherwise. The high school state championship was always the lead story. Media credentials, every small radio station used to carry a state championship. We talk a lot about Muncie Central Milan, and I know that's the touchstone in the history of Indiana high school basketball, but I think the biggest impact, at least that I've seen, is sectionals. The sectionals used to bring communities all around the country, around the state together. It was a very intense competitive rivalry, and it was certainly a big deal first weekend in March. And, that's no longer the case. So that was a big trade-off, and whether restoring single-class basketball could restore the way things used to be, I don't know, but it's certainly something to consider. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Welcome.
Thank you. Kyle Persinger. Thank you, Commissioner Cox, Senator Riddell, for coming, and appreciate Marion, recognize our tradition and history here. We're very proud of it. I was very fortunate to be a Marion Giant. That was my childhood dream, to be a Marion Giant, not to play in the NBA, and thank goodness I was able to fulfill that, and the great memories of joy when we did have a real single-class tournament. And I appreciate all the comments here, the nostalgia, but I guess my point would face a little different. Not that I disagree with what's said, it's just multi-class basketball, in my opinion, was built on the basis of fairness. And I think that's been a flawed principle, and still is not working by the things we're looking at today. Just even looking at the 4 classes here, the difference in the 4A schools is enrollment. That was the figures. We will be fair based on classes solely on the basis of enrollment. In 4A, discrepancy of enrollment from the largest to smallest school is 3,802 students. 3A, 521, 2A, 240, 1A, 267. I don't see the fairness or equitable there, and I'm not the only one, because at this point, what have we had after 15 years of equitable fairness? Now we don't have fairness because we've heard one comment here, right? Private schools, unfair. Charter schools, unfair. And now we're bringing up success ratio. If you're successful, that's not fair, let's bump it up. That's the premise you're chasing, and it's never going to work. It's never going to work. Enrollment has failed because now we're bringing these other factors on. And the reason fairness doesn't work is because it's not an achievable goal. Athletics are based on education. They're in educational institutions because we teach life lessons. Those life lessons always mean fairness. Do we want to send a message to a kid that you can't compete? And I think that's the unjust thing here. Thank you.
Thank you.